Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of the Custom Culture Rodcast, brought to you by Old School Rods and Car Culture Deluxe magazines. We are here in Murpho's shop in beautiful Buda, Texas, starting our third season. Murph, what do you think, bro?
Amazing.
Boy, I tell you, I never thought, after the first few that we did, I didn't think we'd ever get here.
We had a couple of really rough
We did.
ones in the beginning, for sure.
We did.
Yes.
But I'm glad we're here now, and I'm glad we're on Season 3. We have Miss Shelby and Miss Colette. How y'all?
Hello.
That's crazy.
Welcome,
It is
Shelby.
crazy.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is our third season. It's from when we first started, or even talking about doing this thing, until finally now it's our third season.
Well, thanks for letting me in on
Which
it.
I don't even know
Yeah.
how many episodes because we lost count. Literally about 7 or 8 in the second season.
Was it like 1, 2, 3? 10?
So-
We're
Yeah.
15.
It's a new year,
It's a new year, so I know we're on
It's a-
one.
fresh beginning.
You should write that number one. Boom.
One.
Number 1.
Number one.
Season 3, 2023.
And by the way, y'all, for all you who are listening, it is January. We've started the new season. I hope everyone out there and all y'all had a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all that stuff. Whatever you're celebrating, I hope you celebrate it and all your families are well. To you guys as well.
Well, thank you, Deuce.
And
Thank
Same
you.
to you,
and all,
Deuce.
and all the people out there.
And all the people.
And all the peoples.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's new, y'all?
Oh, third season. That's what's new.
Speaking of people,
Speaking of people,
Yes.
by the way,
Well, Miss Colette's been in the shop doing some fabrication. She's working on one's shoebox. She's been building patch
Bad.
panels and
it looks good back
welding
there.
and welding and grinding.
I was when I got to the shop here earlier. I walked back there and checked everything
you?
as I always do, and just kind of get my fingers on everything. I love it.
You've been working on that metal finish, girl?
Yeah.
How's that
I'm getting
going?
there. I'm getting there. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're doing great. I think it's like getting better all the time. I
I
like
just-
that you're
I just
like
like this.
hypercritical and hard on yourself. You know?
I am. I'm
It's
super
great.
hard on myself.
It's
I can't
great.
help it.
It
I just
means
always want to
it's
be a better version of myself every day. Better
And
builder.
Miss Shelby's busy in the new year, getting ready to do all the things this year.
All
The busiest
things.
person in Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Work
Yeah,
life.
just looking at our schedule, new planner, and I'm like, oh man. But I'm like, it's gonna be so fun though. But
I saw you
damn.
turn the page
So it's-
and it's like filled.
Yeah,
Already. I'm like,
she's
I need one of
planning.
those.
It's January is very misleading
Mm-hmm.
because GNRS, switched to February. Normally we breaking up the January February thing, but
Yeah,
man, like starting in February, I think it's like till July or something.
It's almost every weekend.
the
There's
calm
something going on.
before the storm.
Right.
Yes,
I
and we're
hope
also
we're gonna go
hosting an
more.
event in the middle of February. So
Yes.
we go to Grand. Well, we were gonna go to Moon Eyes, then Grand National, then host an event, and then
Starboard.
Starboard.
It was like boom, 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 boom.
I
There's
was
just
like-
no way.
There are not enough hours in the day.
There's
No.
just not.
No,
So-
But how cool would it have been?
It would have been great if we were superhuman.
if we didn't have to work,
I know.
And
we
or
didn't have to be in a
sleep.
shop.
if there weren't cars to build.
No sleep.
No sleep,
cars to
no
build,
eat.
cars.
no
Yeah.
shop to run.
And by the way, speaking of car shows, I'd like to introduce our guest if you guys are ready for it.
Ready?
Yes.
We have Larry Gardner here from Dragon on Dirt Car Show. Larry, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Good to talk to you folks.
Good to talk to you. I know you're out of Monte Vista, Colorado. We were talking beforehand that it's snowy there, and we're thinking down here in Austin how amazing snow would be because it was 80 degrees today.
I know, right? I was like, I have to ask, what's the weather?
Yeah.
Snowing.
Yeah, Larry.
Yeah,
Larry-
we would like to get rid of the snow and trade you for a few days.
Yeah.
Okay. We could take snow for like a half a day.
Half a day.
Maybe.
Where it just melts right away.
We tried that 2 years ago in February, and everyone was screwed up forever, man. Ice came down here, and everyone stayed in their house, and yeah, it was crazy. Lost power. Nuts. So, Larry, tell us about Dragon on Dirt, the car show.
Well, it's not. We are having the car show in conjunction with it, but the main thrust of it is old school traditional dirt drags on an 8-mile dirt racetrack out built on the site of an old historic dirt airstrip right outside of Monte Vista, Colorado.
Nice.
That is
And a really cool
awesome.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a comeback show,
That's
though.
awesome.
Right?
Yeah. So
So you're bringing it back, Larry, yeah?
Yes, there was some other folks that had an event out there for 5 or 6 years, the Hot Rod Dirt Drags.
Okay.
They have since quit doing that, and there were a lot of people across country that were really jonesing
Into it.
to have a place to come do that again, and they really liked coming to this area because we're at 7,500 feet of elevation, but it's an 80 mile by 100 mile flat spot on top of the mountains. Every direction you look, there's mountains.
Wow.
So we're not on top of the mountains. We're just at a waypoint, quite a ways up.
The view.
And it's a neat spot. And the people that used to come to that event every year really liked it. They really liked the area, and they just liked the drive getting here from anywhere. You have to go across a
Right.
mountain pass or two.
So so
So-
I saw a few of the photos and they're beautiful, like so sick.
Well, good for you for bringing it back.
Heck yeah, man. Especially dirt tracks.
Well,
How
thanks.
awesome's that?
Larry,
I've-
when is the date of the event?
It's June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, everyone.
Plenty of time to register.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got the website. Should be up and functional in just a few days. It's up right now, but it's not real functional. We're working on it. We're trying to get bugs out of it. But
Right.
within a few days, it'll be where people can pre-register and that sort of thing. And it gives more information. And then we've also got a Facebook page and a lot of different stuff going on. I've been posting information about this event everywhere I can think of for almost 6 months now.
Oh, great. That's good. Getting the word out there.
Including old school rods, so don't worry, guys.
Right.
You'll see that.
What, Rod's Custom. You guys do motorcycles too?
Yeah, it's traditional pre-65 rods, customs, and motorcycles.
That's
cool.
fantastic.
That's
That sounds
so cool.
fun.
That sounds fantastic, man. I need to get out there for that show.
I want to go.
Yeah.
I know. I want
Yeah.
to go too.
Oh, it's a hoot. It's really fun. The first year I went, I've been around hot rods and stuff since I was 5 years old, which was a long time ago. And my uncles and my dad used to drag me to every kind of racing there ever was, from racing on the street to oval tracks to drag racing, you name it, they took me
That's cool.
from the time I was just a little kid, and I've been around that whole thing ever since. And the first year I went out there when the other folks were running that, I went out there and I was telling people about the next day, and they said, "Well, what'd you think?" And I said, "Well, I've never had so much fun watching cars go slow." And I didn't mean that in a mean way. It's
Right,
just that you
yeah.
got a bunch of four cylinders and a bunch of flatheads out there running on dirt on 4-inch wide tires, and their terminal speed might be 50, 55 miles an hour at the other end of an eighth mile on dirt. It isn't a real exhibition of speed, but man, it is a hoot to
What
watch.
fun,
It's so
yeah.
much fun. And the atmosphere is just so cool.
Oh, yeah.
You got all these old rods and all the guys that love them, and it's really a kick.
So, Larry, you told me over the phone that when you guys had done this the last time, you had 100 entries or something within the
Wow.
first hour
Oh.
or day.
Well-
I'm sorry. I might have gotten the numbers and time wrong, but it was a really great turnout. People are eager to do this and live in that nostalgia.
Well, how long was it
Yeah,
going on
the
before?
people, they did it for 5 years.
Okay.
And I think they started out the first year, had 50, 60 cars, something like that. By the end, they had well over 100 cars.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure of the number. But when I put it online, I put it on one Facebook page. The car club in Denver has been around since probably the 40s, an old-time car club. I put it on their Facebook page at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, and by noon the next day, the host motel out there where this thing is held was sold out.
Wow.
All the rooms were gone overnight.
That's awesome.
So cool.
And at that point, I was committed, and I said, well, I better get busy now. and it's never stopped. From that moment, I get phone calls, emails, text messages all day, every day.
Well, it
People
sounds like
want
it's
to
going to be a
know-
good turnout then.
Yeah.
If
Well-
you're constantly getting calls.
We've got people interested talking about coming. Well, I know that a guy rented rooms from Florida. There's a guy in Pennsylvania talking about coming, California, Arizona. I know there's a whole train of people coming from Arizona,
Nice.
Texas, there's a bunch of guys coming from down South Texas, all coming up together. Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah. It's just nuts, the response, because like I said earlier, these guys have been dying for 3 years for this event to come back, and it hadn't because COVID shut it down for 2 years, and then this year it didn't happen. And I've been doing nonprofit stuff around here to raise money for kids' causes for 35 years.
Oh, cool.
And
that's really cool.
So cool.
the business people came to me and they said, look, we need to get something happening out there. And so I looked into it, and I mentioned that we were wanting to do it, and it took off. And so here we are, and it's going to be a big deal. I have a feeling that it's going to be quite the event. The town of Monte Vista's really gotten into it. They're going to have a big block party and a slow cruise through town with all the old cars on Saturday night.
Oh, cool.
Man, that would be awesome.
So cute.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to put a band right down in the middle of downtown Monte Vista. And Monte Vista's a small place, probably 5,000 people. And
Are you in a car club, Larry?
I am not. I have this nonprofit group I call Fast Friends, and then the state messed up my paperwork, so we had to change it to SLV, Fast Friends, for San Luis Valley. But no, I'm not in a car club. I've been in 3 or 4 motorcycle clubs over my lifetime, and never did get into a car club. And a couple people approached me about it, but I just didn't. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't something for me.
That's all right. Yeah.
I feel like Deuce is gonna ask what kind of bikes you have had or have.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any right now. I had my left knee replaced for the second time.
Oh, no.
And told my wife I wouldn't ride a two-wheeler again because that's one I always put on the ground.
Oh man.
But I built a trike with the front wheel drive set up from a old Toronado with a 400 horse Olds 350 on the back.
That's awesome. That's a beast.
Oh, it was a hoot. And then I traded it and got another hot rod, and I've been building hot rods since. That was a few years back. But I've had Harleys and I think 7 or 8 Honda 750 choppers that I've built frames for and different stuff. I'm a fabricator. That's my deal.
Nice, man. Yeah, I've been known to do a couple things on 2 wheels and be clubbed up in a couple different things from time to time. So I get that world. As soon as you said that, my ears went, woo, I get it. So, but yeah, and people, man, unless and being on the bikes, and like if you're running one of these things on a dirt track, how much fun that kind of stuff is, with the hot rods and bikes and being able to pull it out and do that thing where you guys are going to be doing up there. I'm excited. I mean, I got to get out there for that thing, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. We'd love to see it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun because it's packed dirt. It's like an old hard packed dirt road. The people that go out there and do the track prep, man, they really do a good job.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
I grew up around here. Yeah, I grew up around here drag racing on dirt roads, so
it's funny
it
too.
fit right in with me.
Yeah, people don't think about that. I think the closest thing in Texas is Fandango. They do chopper drags, but as you keep racing, you're getting, all of that. You're just packing down. So, like, to watch people from the beginning, and they're, like, hauling ass, but then trying to get out of there, like, after the first, 12, 20, whatever races. But you mentioned that you grew up around cars. Was that in Colorado?
Yes.
Okay, so you lived in the same spot. What's the Colorado car scene like? I mean, that's not really on my radar.
Oh, I mean, it depends on the part of the state, but hot rods are a big thing in Colorado, about anywhere you go. You get into the bigger cities, well, even around here, the lowrider thing is pretty big because we've got a really large Hispanic component to the citizens around here, and they are really into the lowriders, and there's lots of lowriders in Colorado. You get up in Denver, and there's a number of really big lowrider clubs and stuff.
Wow.
And then, of course, you get into up in the Front Range, and where there's a lot more people, and you get people with the vet clubs and the Cobra clubs and all that stuff too. there's a lot of car clubs and car activity in Colorado, just from one end to the other.
Honestly, I had no idea.
Different kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I would think just because it snows so much, I mean, you're only going to have, half a season of being able to actually get your cars out on the road, running it. So people are probably eager to get on that.
But then again, they have a lot of downtime to build things.
Also true. 6 months.
Well,
except for it's also not a lot of fun to build in the cold.
Well, yeah, but
No, but man,
Freezing
but
garage.
hopefully.
once you got them out there, the views you're driving,
Beautiful.
I can imagine.
you got
yeah.
mountains on those sides
That'd
and
be so
cruising,
rad.
and the air's cool, and which we all know engines love cool air, man. When you're going, that
True,
engine's
there'll
just
probably be no overheat.
just
Wow.
burning. Oh man, I'm excited.
Larry, do you have a hot rod now?
I've got a 71 Mustang coupe. I had a 56 Ford Fairlane I'd gone completely through, put new different suspension under it and all that stuff. And a guy kept bugging me, wanted to buy it. And I sold it, and a friend of mine had this Mustang. He says, I wish you'd do something with this and show me what it'll look like if you do something. So I took it, and it's really a nice Mustang, but it's just not me. It's got a custom paint job with ghost flames and all that, and, lots of cool stuff. It's got a 408 stroker motor in it and all that, but it's just not me. I want to sell it and get something old.
Yeah.
Well, you said you had a shop too, right? And you said you fabricated. You're a fabricator.
I'm a fabricator. That's what I've been doing for a living for a long time. I've got a shop out behind the house where I do some stuff. And
How's shop life?
Pardon me?
How's shop life? Is it good? Your shop.
Oh, it works good for what I'm doing here, but I also know 4 or 5 people I used to work for in welding shops that I can go use about any kind of equipment I need to.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. There's nothing. We were talking about shop life. That it's always good to have the time to go back there and tinker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where no matter what you got going on during the day, all your same stuff. You go, oh man, I'm done. I'm gonna put on coveralls. I'm going in the shop. You open it up. You smell the dust from the cars you got going. All right, now it's time to play and fabricate, and weld, and stretch and roll and do everything, which is. It's what it's all about, man. Building these things. So
we're having this conversation earlier of how car building started as a side project, and you're like, I can't wait to do this. I'm working in another outlet, and then you're waiting, and then you're one day something just hit you, and you're like, nope, this isn't fulfilling, and this is what I want to be doing, and I'm gonna figure out how to do it. I feel like that's really when something is your passion and you have the comparison of just a mundane job or unfulfilling, or you're just okay, this pays bills, but you're not satisfied to your core. You're not, especially being creative, there's a balance. So we were kind of talking about Murph's background earlier, and just kind of really knowing when you hit that point where you're I'm going to try it. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to see if it works and do everything tooth and nail until it does. And not every day is going to be a rainbow, right? But that that is better than your most mediocre day and a decent job that's paying your bills, right? That's 100% more satisfying, even on the gnarliest. Everything's falling, but you're still I'm doing it. I'm doing what I love.
Yeah, this does sound a lot like a conversation we were having.
It does. That's so weird. It's 3 hours ago.
Real. But yeah, I mean, it's what is your passion? What is your calling? Because if you can find a way to create a world that fulfills you with what is your passion, and then hopefully be able to make a living at that, that's really the thing. I have really tried to encourage my kids in particular to try and find their calling and their passion and figure out how to go about living a life that allows them to do that and live it for real. I don't know how I got philosophic about this, whatever, but it sure beats, punching the clock 9 to 5 for the man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, the difference, quality of life. But even then, so let's say you're in a shop we've talked about Noah and just a couple of the kids we've had, when you shift gears, so maybe you are in the spot that you want to be in, but you're maybe this isn't for me, maybe I'm going to try this. That's the cool part about the shop, is we encourage people to try different things, someone can be a welder and, full-blown body work, and sometimes the body work is what they never would have thought they'd be doing, and they're excelling at it. Noah's trying to paint and flake everything under the sun now, and you see how passionate he is. If you see someone living their passion on a weekend after doing it all week, that is their absolute dream job. Because
he was fabricating, then went right into body and just exploded.
Done.
Yes.
Like
Love,
just
you
done.
could just see
And-
like he's passionate about it.
and he's young, and he still has like his skill set is only going to improve from here. And then like that's the thing is like throwing a show or hot rods or whatever, like you may have that influence in your life, but like really taking the time to be like, I'm going to capitalize on this and make this my life.
Right.
Like a lot of people don't have the balls to do it, so when you do and you're like, I will not fail because I'm so passionate, like that's the dream.
Yeah,
Larry's bringing it back.
Yeah, Larry, how did you get into fabricating?
Well, I wanted to build some stuff, and I didn't know how.
Yeah,
Go, Larry, go.
That's how it starts. That's
Well,
awesome.
you know,
gotta
I
figure
mean,
it out.
I did custom painting for 45 years
Oh, cool.
There you go.
in my home shop and stuff on my time off, away from work. Because I needed a motorcycle custom painted, and I couldn't afford to have somebody do it, so I learned how and I did it. And the guy that I was doing it at his shop, he said, "Well, you want to paint mine while you're at it?" So we got busy, and then I learned how to letter and stuff because I couldn't afford to pay a sign painter to letter my race cars.
Nice.
And I learned a lot of skills like that because I couldn't afford to pay somebody else to do it. And they've come in handy over the years. I paint signs for people and do weird stuff and paint stuff every now and then. I'm still
I wanna
welding
dabble
and
into lettering.
fabricating and building stuff.
Passion spawns necessity.
Exactly. Good
Yeah.
for you. That's awesome.
Have
Yeah.
to make
Larry's
this
like, I'm going to
work.
make it happen.
Yeah. Well, also talking about like affordability, like we've talked about this before, like you can't just go out and buy a hot rod or something. Even like 30 to 40 years ago, affordable, be able to just like tinker with it and make it happen and make it roll, right?
It's an
That's
expensive
not-
hobby.
it's Trying to
It
get
really
an engine,
is.
anything, like getting something, machined also is just crazy, but it's a skill set that's dying in a lot of places, like
Sure.
powder coating, like all that,
And if you have the capability to do it, do it.
Yeah,
It's
it's crazy. It's wild. Automotive. Only getting more specialty, right?
Larry, you said that your dad was into hot rods.
Yes.
Yeah,
I learned to drive in his 36 Ford pickup that was on a
yeah.
52 Mercury station wagon chassis with a built-up flathead with 3 deuces and Fenton headers. And when I was 10 years old, that's what I learned to drive in.
Nice.
10 years old? Oh my, could
Well,
you read through pedals?
I think Larry said that he started at 5, doing stuff with the cars and his dad.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
go to the
they
tracks.
started
You
dragging
just
me.
go to, on tracks.
They started dragging me to races at 5 years
Yeah,
old.
5, yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
always get kind of envious, of first, second, third generation, like, well, I'm call Larry a kid right now, but you know what I mean. That have that that thing, being a late bloomer. I always think about what maybe would have been different. Like you were talking about Noah being in the shop at 19, and like if it's a lifelong passion, like there's no limitation. Like he could
No.
just flourish for years.
Yeah. We're just like, damn
Yeah.
it.
I didn't have
So
that.
jealous.
Yeah, and then you look at that little James Dean that we have
Oh
here
my gosh.
at 17,
Yeah.
right? Like, wow, like knows where their world's gonna go if they stay passionate with
Yeah.
this is really their thing,
So Larry, we have, for context, we have this kid that we hired a couple months ago, and he's literally like a tiny James Dean. Like this kid is out of like Leave It to Beaver, and just even like the innocence. Sometimes you're like, who are you, and how are you a 17-year-old in 2023? Like this
Right.
is not real. And he
With
has
the
the same
pomp and the hair,
Yeah.
and the-
uniform
Little
every day.
Dean.
His little dark wash jeans. his
Isn't he
black
driving
shirt.
his grandpa's old truck?
His grandpa's truck, yeah.
Right.
And his grandpa made him pay for the whole truck before he's going to give it to him from California. And he rolls
Yep.
around and he runs errands, and it's a cute little truck.
Have you met his dad?
No, I haven't.
Big and little.
Really? Dad's
Yeah.
super cool. He talks about his chops pretty often, so I know that that's an influence. But that's the thing, like, Larry, your dad taking you to drag races. Like, imagine how different your life would be if you were, like, I don't know, going to baseball games with your dad. You'd have a very different, like, set of influences in your life. It's just crazy.
Well, yeah, we also did that. My dad was a softball pitcher
Oh,
for
wow.
a town team in Pueblo, Colorado, when I was a really little kid. But yeah, on the weekends, he and my uncles drugged me off to every kind of racing there was, and that was just our thing. That whole side of our family, all the males were really into the car thing, and
Damn.
I got into stock car racing at 5 years old, and later in life did some of that. And,
Oh, cool.
and that was fun. It was just, I got out of the Navy after 6 years, and I said, I'm going to build choppers. And that's when I started. That's when I learned to weld and fabricate and whatever. I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to make it mine.
So cool. Put your stamp on it. So do you start painting after the fabricating, also out of necessity?
I actually started painting before that. I bought a stock bike, and I didn't want to have one that anybody else had one that looked like it, so I wanted to paint it. The second day after I bought it.
That's exactly what I did.
Tears it apart immediately.
You got to switch this up.
I've done that before where the fender's on it when the bike's not even cold yet. The engine's still warm.
Right.
And I pull the front fender off of the front end or, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Larry sounds a lot like the older version of Waylon Keaton.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it does.
Right? Larry, we have a guy that works here in the shop. He works here at Murpho's in the front of the shop and does a lot of, he does everything, but he does a lot of our assembly and works on the cars and tunes them and stuff kind of before they go home or whatever. But he also grew up in a household. His dad and his grandpa were into motorcycles. He's kind of third generation there. And I think he was probably wrenching on cars at around 5.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He said he was pulled out of school when he was like 7 or 8 to TIG weld the bus that they were living in because they were stacking another one. There's a lot.
His dad was a
happening.
pinstriper.
His dad was a pinstriper, model cars. Grandpa, I think, had the first something in. He was talking about an engine or something, and like Beaumont, and then the dad. There's a picture of his dad racing we actually published in the magazine where he's holding the checkered flag. Because he would get to the point where he would try to mess with the person with the flag so much he kept running into the side of it, and then he'd get the flag. I don't know. There's like a whole aggressive energy off of that, but he can tell the story. It's a lot funnier. But
Larry, are you going to have a flag girl at your races?
We're going to have a series of them.
Not
Larry's
just one or 2 or 3. There's going to be a series.
we have
I'm
options.
talking to all the cheerleader coaches at the different high schools in the valley.
Nice,
Okay, they
man.
jump all day. They're
Yeah,
ready.
ready to
They're
go.
they're going to send us one representative from each school to give us 2 or 3 hours, and then at the end of the day, at the end of the weekend, we're going to have the racers pick their favorite, and we're going to give that school some money for their cheerleader program.
Nice.
Nice.
man.
That's cool.
That's a
Keeping
big
the
job
community.
to let them go. Yeah. I mean, you got to know.
It's a
Especially
great,
in
Well,
dirt.
It's a great thing for
one
the
thing
kids to
about
see.
it is we're going to get a lot of people in the crowd that wouldn't have come otherwise. They're
Awesome,
going to come
yeah.
to cheer for
Support.
their girl.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. Yeah, a lot of younger generation there. They're there to look at the high school kids hanging out with high school kids, and all of a sudden they see the drag races and go, "What is
Yes.
going on?
Oh, yeah.
I want to learn more about this."
True.
yeah, and we
hopefully
are having a
inspire
car show. You mentioned car show earlier. We're having a car show at the same time in this grassed-in area. And so that will get a few people there that wouldn't have come just for the races and that sort of thing. And we're having vendors and entertainment and the whole thing. And then the big block party and the slow cruise Saturday night downtown. And it's going to be a full weekend of fun stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot planned.
The weather is going to be probably incredible too. Colorado in the summer is like, it's unbelievable.
beautiful, yeah.
So beautiful.
The weather during this thing is going to be what in June, 70s, 80s up there.
That's their good weather.
Yeah, maybe 80. 1st of June is not real hot yet.
I don't
Yeah,
think it's
up
probably-
here, up in here at this elevation, it's 7,500 foot elevation.
Right.
It doesn't get to 80 probably until maybe the end of July or August.
Wow.
So mid
As a
70s.
Probably
rule,
no humidity.
but it'll
Literally
be in the
not.
70s. It'll be really nice.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
It's good for old cars.
Wish I was there now.
Can we trade you? Can we trade you now?
Yeah, that's our winter, not our summer.
Yeah, well, Texas is so crazy. 2 weeks ago we were freezing,
Yeah, for 3 days it was really low, and
and then
then
it
all of a
was
sudden,
80 today.
yeah.
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 And it's
Well, yeah,
funny-
that big cold snap came through, and we're usually the coldest spot in Colorado almost every year. And this year we were 35 degrees warmer for a low temperature than Denver was because that whole thing missed us. It went through there and left a couple feet of snow on the ground. We didn't get any.
Yeah, it came straight down from Denver, straight down here.
Yes.
We got the cold for like 3 or 4 days. Because usually, to be honest, our big winter is in February. We get about a week or two of really cold weather, right around freezing temperature for a week or so, and then that's it. Then all of a sudden, once again, it goes 70 degrees, and then
back.
it goes 110, and it's 110 until
it goes 70
October.
degrees for like 4 days, and then it goes to 100.
That's what I'm saying. And then we get late September, early October. You walk outside and you see dew on the grass. You go, oh, thank the Lord, the weather's changed. And then all of a sudden, it gets cool again.
So, Larry, we have several people in the shop right now. They're from out of state, and they've just spent their first year in Texas. And I was telling them, like in September, and then it was approaching October, that we were going to get fall. It was going to be fall. And I told them it would be forthcoming. It would dip a little bit, and it'd be hot again, and then we get a couple of good weeks of weather, like what they were used to from the West Coast. And it happened, and then it was cold. Just like that.
It was
Out of
cold.
nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
And now it's 80. So that's Texas.
We've got a lot of winter, not snow. Like it's not like really crazy, but we got a lot of winter, and we've got a lot of summer.
Yeah, when you say a lot of winter, we get 2 weeks of winter in February, really.
Yeah, it's summer forever in
I'm
Texas.
glad that we're not going to be around in February. We'll be traveling, hopefully,
Yeah.
to shows.
Yeah, but
Starboard.
the summer is what gets us.
Yeah.
It goes up from like 70s to 90s to 103, 108, and then it stays there for the next
6 months.
6 months.
She's chilling.
Yeah, true story.
Well, Larry, this has been fun.
Yeah,
Real
It has
quick, Larry,
been.
is there going to be like a host hotel for your event?
it sold out.
Well, there is
did.
one right on site. It's sold out overnight, a year in advance.
Dude, that's
There are other.
Now what are people going to
Miss
do?
Colette, this is a big deal.
This is a big deal.
Well, there are other lodging options. There's a big old historic hotel right down Monte Vista,
I
Yeah.
love
right
historic
downtown,
hotels. I do.
and another motel. And then there's lots of Airbnbs. There's
So
RV spaces. There's campgrounds. And if you go through Rio Grande County up through Del Norte, Colorado, up into South Fork, Colorado, there's lots of lodging and stuff. And the farthest away you get is about 30 miles. So.
well, I suppose if we're gonna make it out there, we might need a
Get on it. Yeah.
Motorhome?
Oh, we're just
And
like
then
Griswold this.
Yeah.
We're just gonna it's the Murpho's family vacation.
Is that? Do you really mean just a trailer?
I like it.
Come on.
Yeah, I've got a list I compiled of all the lodging available.
cool.
Okay.
okay.
Well, good. We got
If
some
you're
resources.
interested, give me a holler and I'll email it to you.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
we're pretty excited. It sounds amazing.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, I can't
I want a
wait.
mini bike on the drags.
Oh,
The
that'd be
one
rad.
thing I'd like to mention, I don't know that the people listening are going to be in that position to do it or whatever, but right now what we're looking for is sponsors. The budget for this thing is so much more than we ever expected, and we're just trying to get everything paid for. We
Yeah.
need an ambulance for 3 days, we need a fire truck, and we need this, and we need that, and all the permits and all the stuff involved.
A lot of logistics go into
the
it.
budget
to put on
is-
a show. Yes.
They're always-
Yeah,
Well,
it's
hopefully-
5 or 6 times more than what we thought it was going to take to make the show happen.
Yeah, they're always way more than you're thinking. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's just
I mean, just the porta potties and everything. You don't even think. All
It
of a
adds
sudden you
up.
get the bill and go,
Right.
It does add up. Yep.
Yeah.
I would imagine that we've got some listeners out there that might want to
Yeah.
do something here.
For the
Look, guys,
cause.
yeah, if
for
you're trying to keep nostalgia alive, you want to have a good time. Also remember, like, it's like a good house party, right? Someone's got to buy all the booze. You got to put in the work. Like, this show and the safety aspect of it, too. That's a huge,
That's
huge,
huge,
Yeah.
huge,
Right, right.
super
like,
important.
yes, you want to drag race, but it's not your typical, like, park and hang sitch. So, yeah, let's help out dragging on the dirt, guys.
Let's do it.
All right,
Right on the
bringing
dirt,
it
y'all.
back.
Larry, if people want to get a hold of you, buddy, and they want to be sponsors or they want to, sign their cars up or whatever, how can they do that?
the easiest way is go if they're on Facebook. There's a Dragon on Dirt Facebook group, and the event is also listed there.
Okay.
Or they can just email me. There's no G on Dragon. It's DRAGGINONDIRT @gmail.com.
At Gmail. Perfect. All All right, man. Well, hey,
Cool.
this has been an absolute pleasure talking with you today, Larry, and learning all about this, man. And I love dirt drag shows. They are so much fun.
Cool.
Bring it back.
I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited. I'm hoping we can get out there because they are fun, man. And I'm glad that you guys are doing it and staying traditional, 65 and older, hot rods, customs, motorcycles. You got them all, man. That's rad. We appreciate
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I really appreciate you having me on. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's great, man. Thank you so much. We're hoping to get out there. It sounds like so cool.
I know we try to get to everything. We want to be
Do
at everything.
anything and everything we can to
Yeah.
support and try and,
Exactly.
and do what we can to help.
Well, once again, Larry Gardner
appreciate
from Dragon on Dirt. He's got his Monte Vista, Colorado. They're going to be having the dirt track races on June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. There's also going to be a car show. There's also going to be a slow drive through town. I mean, they got everything going on. There's vendors. There's whatnot. They are looking for sponsorships. So once y'all hear this thing, hit them up at dragonondirt.com or sorry, on Facebook as well, or dragonondirt@gmail.com. Hit them up. Larry Gardner. Larry, once again, buddy, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Y'all
you,
have
man.
a good
evening.
Thank, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon, bro.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh, thanks, Larry.
That was fun.
Yeah,
Awesome,
thank you.
Larry.
That was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, the time always goes by so fast.
I know. I
It
looked
always
down and
goes
was like,
by
oh my
fast.
gosh.
What time is
Yeah.
it?
It's already 7.
And I didn't mention it, but our website is going to be up in a few days, and it's dragonondirt.com.
You did mention it earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
did.
got it.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, anything I screwed up there, they're going to edit anyway in post.
We'll just make your voice, Deuce. What?
What?
Did you guys want to tack on a regular outro?
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
I'll
Oh.
do that.
Because it was like, all right, Larry, thanks, and then clap.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Larry, I forgot to do the exit of the show. No, we'll do it right quick.
I'll take 2 and 2.
Larry, we're gonna drop you off.
All right.
Just they're gonna just record their goodbyes, which you're welcome to
Okay.
listen to, but I just
No, that's cool.
Thank you again, Larry, brother. I really
Thanks,
appreciate you
Larry.
having being on the show, man. That was fun.
yeah, this was great.
Hey, thank you. It'll help us a lot. We really appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, man. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, man, that was fun talking with Larry, man. I love dirt track racing, man. That is so much fun. Even watching it, watching the dirt flying, watching everyone freaking out, watching the, it's the betting on the side, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It's a family show, but it happens.
Deuce.
I know.
Nothing like being at a good drag race with a little dirt in your beer.
That's it.
Sprinkle a
it.
little
Safety
dirt in my
first,
Lone
kids.
Star.
Yeah, a little dirt in your Lone
You have
Star.
Lone Star in Colorado? We'll have to bring our own.
Bring our own.
Bring our case.
What are you
Bring
talking
our
about?
Griswold, Winnebago.
Yeah.
No, man, they got Curse and Curse Light.
I was assuming you meant
Curves and-
They
trailer.
got Yellow Bellies, is what you drink out there,
Yes,
and
I
they
love
are
Yellow
cold.
Bellies.
Me too.
And I just got to throw it in there. Hopefully the shitter's not full.
There's gonna have a ton of them. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, there is going to be a bunch.
Winnebago.
In the Winnebago.
Good Lord.
Well, hey, man, what do y'all think for the season 3, first episode? I'm gonna remember the numbers. I'm gonna write them down in the corner.
Jam Jam.
Well,
Jam.
in theory, starting at 1,
Yeah, this
we've
was
got
an
a good chance.
This was an easy one to remember.
Hey, we're keeping it traditional.
Yeah.
Starting
Seven-
season
Yeah, I
3,
mean, like-
nostalgia.
Yeah,
We're
7 and
doing
8, we're gonna be half pie-eyed and turn around and go, what episode? Season 3 again. I think that's how we lost track.
He did write number 1.
yeah,
like,
We're gonna
number
keep
one.
I
it
wrote
every week.
third season
We're going to just
episode
flip
1.
it over for Deuce and keep it here.
Public Enemy number 1.
Well, hey, for Murpho, thank you
Yes.
very much.
Deuce, again, man, thank you so much for having me.
It's your show. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting me in my own home.
I was gonna say, we're in your shop and your show, brother.
I'm just happy to be here.
Deuce is like, what?
I love this. This is my favorite day of the week. Is when
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. It
Still
really
had so
is.
much fun.
Great.
It is. Well, for myself, for Murpho,
Thank you, sir.
for Miss Shelby,
Bye, guys.
and the new chick from Chicago,
Jam Jam.
Jam.
Jam, the thing.
Miss Colette, Jams. Hey, we appreciate y'all listening. This is 3rd season, 1st episode of the Custom Culture Rodcast, brought to you by Old School Rods and Car Culture Lux magazines. We are out.